There is a quiet, bloody, multi-billion-dollar war happening across suburban America right now. And every time you buy a simple wooden board or a bucket of paint, you are unknowingly funding a calculated territorial battle. Most shoppers look at giant retail stores and see convenience. They see bright neon signs, vast parking lots, and endless aisles of tools. What they completely fail to realize is that they are standing right in the middle of a brutal corporate chess match, a war fought not with weapons, but with supply chain algorithms, real estate blockades, and aggressive predatory margins. Two corporate titans, Lowe's and Home Depot, have divided the entire American landscape into strategic battle zones. Yet, one of them carries a hidden financial mechanism, a secret weapon built deep inside its business architecture. A mechanism so profitable, it allows them to print cash even when the broader economy is completely crashing around them. By the time you finish listening to this, you will never look at a local hardware store, a parking lot, or a simple box of screws the same way ever again. Because behind those signature blue storefronts lies a cold-blooded financial machine, designed to control the physical ground beneath your feet. To understand how this industrial warfare actually works, you first have to look at the staggering scale of the battleground. The home improvement market in the United States is a massive, near $1 trillion monster. Think about that number for a second. Nearly $1 trillion, spent on wood, concrete, drywall, and replacement plumbing every single year. Why do Wall Street's sharpest investors obsess over this specific market? Because it is one of the very few industries on planet Earth that is completely immune to traditional online destruction. You cannot download a 50-pound bag of quickset concrete when your main water line bursts at 2 o'clock on a freezing Sunday morning. You are not going to sit around waiting 2 days for an online delivery truck. You need a solution right now, and that urgency creates an almost unfair pricing power. Yet, most everyday consumers completely misunderstand why these giant stores exist in the first place. They assume Lowe's is just a retail shop selling products to homeowners. That belief is a complete illusion, designed to keep you looking at the front shelves, while the real cash moves through a hidden side door. So, who is actually pulling the strings of this giant blue machine? And where is your money really going? If you think Lowe's is run by a passionate family of builders, think again. The true owners of this empire are massive Wall Street investment institutions, giants like Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street. These massive funds do not care about customer service, and they certainly do not care about hand tools. They care about relentless capital extraction and peak operating efficiency when you scan your credit card at the checkout register. A fascinating financial reaction triggers instantly. Your cash lands in their bank account within seconds. But Lowe's does not actually pay the tool manufacturer for that product for another 60, 90, or even 120 days. Think about what that means. They collect your cash today, hold on to it for months, and use your money to expand their empire, all before paying a single dime to the supplier who made the product. They are essentially running an immense, multi-billion-dollar interest-free loan program, funded directly by the vendors themselves. And just when you think you understand their financial leverage, you hit a deeper secret where their actual, massive profits come from. If you ask any regular person, they will tell you that retail profits come from weekend shoppers buying lawnmowers and home decor. That assumption is completely wrong. The casual DIY shopper, the weekend warrior fixing a kitchen faucet, is actually expensive to serve, inconsistent, and highly unpredictable. The real engine powering this corporate beast, the core target of their corporate war, is a completely different audience. They call them the pro, the independent contractor, the electrician, the master plumber, the commercial builder. These professionals represent only a small fraction of overall store foot traffic, but they drive a staggering percentage of total profit. A single contractor can easily spend tens of thousands of dollars every single month, buying bulk lumber, endless fasteners, and commercial building supplies to lock these contractors into their ecosystem forever. Lowe's engineered a specialized fortress dedicated commercial desks, custom volume discounts, job site delivery fleets, and massive direct line-of-credit accounts. Once a contractor ties their daily business workflow to Lowe's, switching to a competitor becomes almost impossible. It is a near-flawless customer lock-in mechanism. And to squeeze even higher profits out of every single sale, Lowe's deployed a second, far more aggressive weapon: private label brands. When you purchase an famous national tool brand, Lowe's has to split the profit margin with the manufacturer. So, what did they do? They developed their own exclusive internal brands, like Cobalt, Craftsman, and Allen plus Roth. By manufacturing these items directly, they strip away the middleman entirely. They take cheap raw steel, stamp their own brand name onto it, and instantly double their profit margins on the exact same item. It is an incredible margin-expanding machine. But keeping this massive engine running requires surviving a terrifying operational reality. Step inside the brutal inner workings of their cost structure, and you begin to see just how close to the edge this business really operates. Running nearly 2,000 massive warehouse stores requires astronomical amounts of operational capital. We are talking about billions spent every year on prime commercial real estate, massive regional distribution hubs, specialized logistics fleets, and a workforce numbering hundreds of thousands of employees. Then come the silent killer expenses, the ones that keep executives awake at night: soaring local property taxes, massive utility bills to keep multi-acre steel structures lit and temperature-controlled, and the rising menace of inventory loss, organized retail theft, damaged freight, and human error drain hundreds of millions of dollars out of the system every single year. To fight back, corporate management measures every single inch of floor space with ruthless mathematical precision. Every aisle, every rack, every shelf section is governed by one single metric: sales performance per square foot. If a product line fails to meet its strict financial quota, it is instantly purged and replaced with higher margin inventory without hesitation. Which brings us to a mind-bending strategy puzzle. How does a physical retail chain build a competitive moat so deep that even giant tech companies cannot destroy it? The answer lies in geographic dominance and complete regional supply chain control. Lowe's does not just open stores based on population growth. They position them like strategic military bases. By surrounding major metropolitan areas with massive, high-speed distribution hubs, they compress delivery times down to hours. They can dump tens of thousands of pounds of raw building materials directly onto a job site long before local suppliers can even process an order. Independent hardware stores and smaller regional lumber yards simply cannot compete with that sheer volume or logistics speed. They get crushed, squeezed out, or swallowed whole. Then, Lowe's introduced an even cleverer trap to secure absolute customer retention. They stopped just selling physical products and started selling guaranteed installation labor. Think about how brilliant this is. When you decide to replace your roof or install new hardwood flooring, Lowe's doesn't just sell you the raw materials. They connect you with a pre-vetted local contractor to do the entire installation work for you. By taking control of both the product supply and the labor marketplace, they capture money on both ends of the exact same repair job. They turned what used to be a one-time product sale into a recurring service loop where they control the entire consumer journey. Yet, despite building this seemingly indestructible corporate fortress, the entire business model hides a dangerous vulnerability. A single systematic vulnerability that could shatter their cash flow overnight. What happens when the broader economy takes a turn for the worse, and the housing market completely freezes? When mortgage rates spike, housing sales stall out, and people stop buying new homes. Common sense says home improvement spending should completely collapse. If people aren't moving, shouldn't the entire industry fall apart? Here is the unbelievable twist when the economy weakens. Lowe's activates a hidden defensive counter-strategy. When people cannot afford to buy new homes due to high interest rates, they are forced to stay right where they are. And when families stay in their older homes, Those aging properties desperately need repairs. Bathrooms break down, roofs age out, kitchen spaces need updating. The market shifts almost overnight from discretionary remodeling to mandatory emergency maintenance. The revenue stream doesn't disappear. It simply transforms into a non-negotiable survival expenditure. However, severe macroeconomic instability still carries dark, unpredictable risks, sudden disruptions in global shipping routes, rapid inflation in raw timber prices, and ferocious price-cutting wars from their main rival can instantly eat away at profits. Moreover, organized retail theft syndicates have evolved into sophisticated criminal operations. Stores are forced to lock basic power tools behind heavy glass cases, creating frustrating buying delays for honest contractors and driving stressed-out shoppers straight into digital alternatives. This brings up the ultimate question. How is this decades-old giant engineering its survival for the next century of business? The future of this blue titan is not about building bigger warehouse stores. It is about invisible modern technology. Behind the scenes, Lowe's is executing a massive transition into artificial intelligence, spatial computing, and predictive inventory monitoring. They are creating exact, digital twins of their physical store layouts, interactive, real-time virtual models powered by artificial intelligence. These systems track customer foot movement patterns,